recording. It's online. I'm not streaming cross code. What is this doing? Yeah. That. How do I get this? Shift. Switch. No. Is audio working? No, hello? 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 This. No, hello? This. No, hello? This. Oh boy. That's some feedback. Okay. Your icon. Your icon. Oh, there it goes. Here. Here. This goes away. This goes away. Hopefully it's working all right. Wait. Is there anything else that I need? I don't think so. I'm just going to stay here until someone can join and confirm. Give it another 5 minutes at most to start. Anything else that I need? I don't think so. It's fine. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Cool. Good enough. Whatever. Joined. Nobody's joined. Oh well. Party of one. Also apologize ahead of time. I'm gonna be clearing my throat for a fair bit, fairly frequently. It'll probably get annoying, but Just maybe get a proper drink. Some seltzer water. Okay, get started, I guess. So this is a relatively new computer. I don't have any of the Vault setup stuff ready, so this will mostly be from scratch. I'm going to desktop, actually, yep, clone that, there, Alt, app. Do not know if I'll need to install the .NET SDK, probably. And a good step would be to scale this up a bit. 5. Again, is that better? Oh yeah, that's way better. Okay, let's just build and see if it works. That went easier than I expected. Properties, console application, yes, Vault. Run this, it's just gonna crash on startup, but it'll at least start. Oh no, oh, so I do need to download. Nice. Gives this nice little convenient link. This. I don't need the runtime of the SDK. So I should do this over here. It's the same. SDK, save. Let's try this again. Unsuccessfully, but really now is running successfully. Was not expecting that. Settings. Connection string. It's kind of running, but not really. Doesn't indicate what stuff we need, but I know what stuff we need, so I'm just going to go get that. We need postgres 10. Download Windows 10. Yes, yes. That, and I'll also want to get pgadmin so I can easily interact with Postgres locally. Windows latest. Yeah. Postgres. Can do it. Postgres. Oh, it comes with pgadmin. Well, I'm installing it separately. Nice and insecure. Next. So I'll be doing the setup to get it up on my computer as a development environment, but I'll also be starting an Ubuntu VM later on and starting to deploy stuff onto there. So I'll be redoing a handful of these steps once I start putting together the Ubuntu VM. But for now, it's all Windows. Pgadmin, admin only. It's finished. Next, install. Music on in the background. Bring desktop audio. No. No desktop audio. pgadmin should be postgres. It's taking so long. Password, whatever. Yeah. Oh, databases. Make a database. Alt owner. It's closed. You want to create user tw user vault privileges. Sure, super user. Sure. Just give it everything. Yeah. Base alt owner tw alt. Anything else we need to touch here? Doesn't look like it. Got vault. Got database. Now we need to initialize it. So let's go to support migration. It's gonna build this and then run it manually. That's the way you normally run it. Actually, no. I'll run it as a developer. I'll run it the usual way once I install it on Ubuntu. Debug. Oh, this is not the interface I'm familiar with. Debug watch profiles. Sure. Oh, this is annoying. Okay. Oh, it starts up with old password. There's no confirmation, so I'm just gonna have to hope that saves. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, set this to startup, and let's run and watch how it breaks. Is it gonna break? It does. Hey, password authentication failed. Did I really just forget the password that I set seconds ago? Password, yes. That the password is password. Save. That's so good. Post. Oh, okay, so it did run. So it's running in the background. Okay. Is that initialize then? Refresh. Schemas. Hey, okay, so we've got all the database stuff initialized. Cool. Okay. Next, I lower the volume of this music because it's a bit too loud. Next, we have to get some world data in here. So we're going to use the manage utility. Set startup. What are what's the current debug config? It's a good thing the public vault is shut down because, yeah. Does this have a oh, because that's manage. That's not what I want. I want ConfigurationFetcher. That's what I want. Set as startup, properties, debug. Okay. Yep. So we'll just do tribalwars.net server, localhost, best password, the one true password, 552. Fetch all, fetch hold, and that should do it. So that should start fetching. What was this set to? It was, well, actually, no, I have the database dump. I can just look at, let's go back to the dump, database, world, I believe. So, I'm just trying to figure out what the time zone was before. Okay, hold on. Let me just extract this. More options. 7-zip. Extract B world. I think it was just world. There you go. What is this being a bit screwy with me? So over here, world. Nope, does not have. Okay. Is it just Europe, London? I guess it must have just been Europe, London. Up, London. Okay, now it's okay. So it just registered all those worlds, but it hasn't pulled in any of that data yet. So, but if I go back here and I look at TW provided, tables, world, whoops, world, rows, hey, we've got data in here. Though I guess I should slightly go over the navigation with all of this, so, hello! Thank you for the support. Hopefully someone else will be able to carry the torch a bit further than I have on all this. For someone attempting to do that, if they want to use pgadmin to inspect their database, for most other database stuff, it's usually just you go in and there's your tables. But for Postgres, for some reason, you have to go into schemas. I'm not super familiar with Postgres, but schemas grouped into different stuff, expand, so it's just schemas and then tables. Yeah, Postgres was new for me too. Fortunately, someone else was responsible for the most part for setting up all that database stuff. But the different schemas feature, well, you can see but that's dedicated for miscellaneous feature stuff. Well, really just translations. Public is not actually used, I don't think. Security, all sorts of users, the user logs, transaction, though this doesn't really get used for anything. Access group, this is when you make a new vault key and you make keys for other people, they're all tied back to the same vault key. That goes all back to access groups. This stuff is just for validation, which I never actually ended up using, but it's there if you want to take a look. So feature for translations, security for sign-in and other sorts of information. TW, this is the data that's actually getting generated and maintained. So the commands, this is all stuff that is uploaded by users and it gets stuffed in here. Good chunk of this is automatically inserted. So for the most part, we just insert into the report here. Then we have, oh, actually it's good for me to check triggers. Okay, good. This does not come by default. This had to be installed by the migration tool. Yeah, I suppose a dialog. But as soon as you insert any sort of report, it'll automatically update a handful of other tables as well to keep it all consistent. So this stuff is all the real-time data that gets built up by the vaults. Then TW provided, this is all just stuff provided from tribal wars. Allies, tribes, conquerors, players, villages, so on and so forth. But the world settings, well, the world gets populated with that configuration tool that I just ran, ConfigurationFetcher. Then the world settings, this gets populated by... Oh no, this was also populated by that, but the actual world data, like villages and whatnot, it's empty. Because we have to run the MapDataFetcher. This is a service that usually runs in the background. I'm just going to run it this once, but it will pull for new world data every hour or so, and then there's an extra endpoint if you want to manually force it to do that, but whatever. Problem report didn't show on the map, but was able to find the report in the database. So there have been reports of something like that. I don't know exactly what's causing it. I do know that there is a handful of different update logic spread over different places, and it's possible that when uploading some kind of report, I have no idea what the requirement would be, but it's possible that you upload it and then one part gets updated, but something else doesn't get updated. So even though it's stored, it's not properly registered with everything else. That might be the case. I don't know for sure. But it can certainly be finicky. I really wish I had better guidance on that, but I don't have anything else to add at the moment. All right, sounds good. Catch you later. Happy New Year's. We'll be going on here. New line arguments, right? I need, right, so configuring this, this uses the app settings JSON. Caching file path. What does this not have? Okay. So we'll have to go. Let me just copy the connection string. I always forget how this works. Grab this, copy, paste. Goes into the MapDataFetcher. Okay, so we're gonna start this. Use IIS Express. Run it. Show me the magic. It's doing something. That is some insane memory usage. And I never really had any memory problems with this map data updater before. So I don't know what's up with it taking up a whole gig of memory for this. It might be because I'm running it in debug mode. That could easily be the case. That's a new feature, hot reload. Okay, well that's doing its thing. You go over on the left, where you should be. Fetching service. So this grabs all of the world information, makes all of the necessary requests to gather the data, and then here, upload tribe data. Does this give context? It does not. So I think it's a context without context. Oh, that might just be because of the entity tracking. Well, let this finish. But even now, we can go back to Postgres and we can look village. Well, if it doesn't freeze. Take it. 294,000. Jeez, Travel Wars. God damn. Going, slowly but surely. Could be doing all of this in parallel. Right now it's just doing them all sequentially. I just didn't end up doing that. I think it was because there was some issue with database congestion with all of these requests going on at once. Maybe that was why I didn't make it parallelized, but whatever. Alright, it's finished. And if I kept this running in the background, it would run again automatically in an hour. It would do its own thing and keep stuff to date, but I don't care about that. We just need data. Okay. So we got MapDataFetcher, and that's in default manage. Actually, you know what? I have made a mistake. I needed to Wars.net. I need an account set up. No. That's still the right password? Yes, sure. Well, getting a script approved. Getting the script approved. By the script, I presume you mean your own copy of the vault. If so, then it should be fine, so long as you let them know that you're using this vault, point them to the code repository, and just let them know of any other changes that you would have made. And if changes were made, then of course also provide those changes to them as well. Generally, they're pretty relaxed sort of with things, so long as you're upfront and as transparent as you can possibly be, because they are trying to prevent malicious stuff, and being transparent helps show that you're not being malicious with all of this. So that's in general, but there's also the other dimension of, you're getting your copy of the vault approved, but maybe there's other people also getting their copies approved, and now there's 10 different versions all going around with all this code and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know how Tribal War support is going to handle that, how they're going to respond to multiple requests for slightly different versions of the same massive script. It would probably be good to try to talk with others who are also working on the vaults, on their own vaults, to try to coordinate with that, try to keep the load off of support as much as you can, because I mean, Tribal Wars really doesn't even have to allow scripts. It's a miracle that they do, and so just making sure we're trying not to waste their time with all this duplicate effort and whatnot. I'm just trying to be conscientious about that. So if you're upfront, if you work with others to try to lower the load for the support team, I imagine things would probably go well. So long as there's not any new features, or even if there are new features, maybe it's fine, but I don't know what those features would be, so I can't really comment on that. But generally, it should be okay, so long as as long as you go with what I had mentioned. So I've got my account here, so I can make a script, but it's going to take a minute for that to actually apply. No, it's not. Hold up, because I can just... So for this configuration fetcher, it will, at a regular interval, it'll look at the local cache of the CSVs that it downloads. So that's the, and what do we need to try before? Is that net map village.txt? Is that it? Yes. So this gets stored as a CSV file by, not configuration fetcher, by MapDataFetcher. This up, cache, and this shows all of the CSVs. So it'll check the last modified date on the CSV, and if it's been an hour since it was last modified, then it'll do the update. But we want this to update immediately. Arguably, we shouldn't really be doing it like this, because you're only supposed to query once per hour, but this is a one-off exception. And I do not know of others who are working on the Vault. I would try to talk about I would try to just talk about Vault development in the Travel Wars scripting Discord, and hopefully others that are also doing Vault stuff will also gravitate towards there. There isn't really like a registry of people working on the Vault, and I haven't heard much about others working on it either, so it's, just try to keep some sort of publicity with that so that others can find you and let everyone else know if that does happen. Linked everything and explained, messed up, had obfuscation. Oh well. Yeah, that happens sometimes. It's a annoying process, but as long as we're polite and mindful throughout the whole thing, and patient, patience is the other big thing. I can't imagine it going too poorly. Right, so I downloaded world data, but I didn't have my account registered. So I just registered my account, but I still cannot get a vault key because that data is not in the database yet. So we need to have this rerun the map fetching stuff. And the map fetching stuff runs based off of the timestamp for these files and blah, blah, blah. But if we delete these files, that's effectively the same as telling it that we haven't ingested data yet. So it is going to re-download all of that. Oh wow, that was quick. Alrighty. 4 seconds. Cool. Okay. So I've got the database, I've got servers loaded up, I've got server data loaded up. So now I'm going to start the manage web app. This is the thing where you'd go to v.tylercamp.me/register. This is the registration page for a new key. Let's see. I'm gonna. Well, oops. Get rid of connection strings, and also set the captcha key as optional in a sec. Yeah, starting it as private, that's probably a good way to go. I think they're a bit more lenient with private scripts rather than public, since it's not going to be as widespread and therefore not as much as of a potential security risk. Maybe. I'm not sure how they look at that sort of stuff. But certainly doesn't hurt to start private. I need this connection string again. I'm just gonna yep. JS is definitely a pain in the butt, especially more so for these sort of legacy clients. Modern JavaScript is quite a bit better, but the legacy-ish stuff that's needed for tribal wars is it's cumbersome and easily confusing, to be sure. So I've got the connection string. Put this here. Connection strings. Just gonna put into there. So that is running on 5030. 50. Whoops. Okay. CAPTCHA is invalid. Okay, so I'm going to do a tweak here to make the CAPTCHA optional. How the hell does this thing work in the first place? Huh. Well, this clearly isn't working. Prior. Oh no, it is working. I just have them set to blank values. Comment that out. Go to startup. Context. So all that stuff is going to be manage controller. Div, configuration, instance. No, I should just copy and paste this. It's here. Pulling that out, and then use captcha. Cap site key method null. Captcha site key dot count length. Yes, okay. If use captcha. Oops. Okay, captcha site key else return pounds. Sure, good enough. Captcha. If use captcha, there we go. And we're going to do this extra validation stuff. So that will skip captcha on the back end if the captcha stuff is empty. But the front end also needs to be updated. Captcha almost all the way. My eyes are just glazing over this code. It's just a wall of text to me right now. Hold up. Captcha response. What was that URL captcha site key? Well, that should be fun. True. True. And then current capture response. If window.use captcha and that. And capture token doesn't matter because it's not going to get used. If use that, and we'll see if this works. Upside down right? Yeah, that's fine. 3 tcamps. Script complete the no. I don't want to. I don't want to do the captcha first. Use not the wrong callback type. Fairly done. Is that to be success? Is that gonna work? Is this gonna just auto apply? Yeah. 3 get script. Bleh. Hit sign up for 123, right? Yeah. Camps. Okay, now it's there. Blech. I do not like having to rerun stuff, but do 123 village layer. So clear those so that it gets pulled again, gets re-downloaded. Startup, rerun this. It's gonna oh, it only looks at one of the files. That file isn't up to date. Right. I needed to delete all the files. Okay. Goes finished. Cool. Now go back to manage and try to register again. But error occurred. Let me set that norm settings. Oh, because I have right. I still have all this crap. Get rid of that and restart. Script. Hey, cool. Okay, now I've got my vault key, but we are still a ways away from actually being able to use it. Okay, well, that's nice. The key, I've got the database, I've got world data, startup, let's also update the connection string, this, there, this, ranking service set to false. Let's set ranking service to true. So this is the high scores thing. That'll run. That'll just make sure that the database connection is valid. So it should do the high scores on an interval. I'm the only one registered, and there's no other. Oh, example, this is what you can see. What the hell? Likely due to a transient failure? Oh, that's good. Oh. Let me guess. Let me guess. It is indeed environment. Nope. It's not an environment variables. Oh, wait. Yes, it is. So I believe putting this stuff in the environment variables option here is preferred to just checking it in app settings, since I believe it was that the data for these profiles is usually ignored but when you're checking stuff into Git. I mean, it depends on your Git, but in most default configs, this is going to be excluded. So it will exclude this sensitive info, but if you put it in app settings, it might, again, depending on your Git ignore, but it might be more likely to leak back into the code base. And you do not want credentials in your repo. Was enabled, but obfuscation failed. Okay. Separate problem. Okay. Ran this, I had an old config, which is trying to load up an old database, so I needed to clear that out. And now it is trying to start up and is trying to do its script obfuscation, but I do not have the service installed right now. So I will disable that somewhere. Auto obfuscate false. Nice. Obfuscate here. Auto obfuscate primary script false. Did I make a typo in? Well, oh, this comment can be ignored. This stuff was old. I should get rid of that, but not right now, for some reason. What is it? Okay, let me run this again. Why is it getting this? If use production scripts. Oh, because that isn't actually ASP util use production scripts. Is production or oh. What was it called? Oh, yeah, ASP.NET Core. Oh, I just need this. I need this copied over. Yes. So without this, it'll be configured to run as production, which is the default, and the vault will run. Oh, that's annoying, actually. The vault will run obfuscation if it is production or if obfuscation is enabled. I should really just make that based on obfuscation is enabled. Nope, that's not what I want. Is that here? No. Is it here? Or was it just at this? Yes, use production scripts. And I'm just gonna get rid of that. Okay. Cool. Looks like it's running. Localhost 5000. Script main.js. Connection string. Why is connection string empty? Configuration get connection string vault. Is it pulling from app setting? This is debug mode. Development. I just had a brain fart. I completely forgot what I was about to do. That's what that whole pause was. It was a moment of, oh wait, what was I just doing? And then waiting, hoping it would come back to me. It did not. Oh, okay. It's working now. Alt.js. Hey, okay. I didn't think I changed anything. Oh no, I did because it was this. Why? Right. That's what the problem was. Why is it pulling from app settings.json and not developing? Did I do something up somewhere? Config app setting. This isn't really a big deal. I don't really have to. Okay, right, that would do it. Right, okay. Well, I needed to have it over there anyway for it to pull from the development app settings JSON. Again, doesn't really matter, but okay, so that's all the debug query for the high scores stuff. Okay, so that's connected. That's good. But now is the hard part. We've got to get this working over HTTPS in order for us to use it on. Nope, not that. In order for us to use it, try Windows. So this has been half the battle, if you can believe it. All of that effort so far has just been half the battle. The other half is going to be this HTTPS thing. So I'm going to be making an Ubuntu virtual machine, and this is I'm going to later use this to sort of demo how the Vault gets deployed on an Ubuntu server. But for now, I'm just going to be setting it up so that it can give me HTTPS. For testing. Let's do 96, sure, next, connection, default switch, next. I don't need much. This is a tiny install. Well, 40. Why not? Download, Ubuntu, next, finish. Now, if you don't know how to work with virtual machines, and you don't have another server to use for doing this sort of stuff, I do not really have any bits of advice for you, unfortunately. If somebody else has a server and they can redirect some stuff to your computer so that you can use their server for HTTPS and then it kind of just streams back to your stuff. If you can get that sort of roundabout way working, then great. I mean, really, that's also what I'm doing here, effectively. I'm just hosting it myself. Install, yes. But if that sort of thing is not available, unfortunately, I don't have any advice or tips on how to get this stuff running. You really need to have HTTPS. There really isn't a way to get around it. Yeah, cool English. No, I don't care. Yeah. Yeah. It's fine. Don't care. Maybe entire disk. Done. Continue. Sure. Tyler Bolts. Sure. Tyler. Yeah, I'm just going to use insecure prep for all of this. Yes. No. No OpenSSH. Someone, I mean, if you were actually installing a server, you probably want that, but I've got this running in a VM on my computer, so I don't really need it. Need any of this? I don't think so. No. Oh, Postgres is a default option. Okay, well, I'm gonna not use that just to show what it looks like from scratch, but maybe that works. Just using the default Postgres bundled stuff. Now to wait. I am using Ubuntu 20. I think you can probably use back to like Ubuntu 16. Doesn't really matter much, but Ubuntu is not a hard requirement. It's just what I'm used to, and that's what I did the original Vault on. So I'm continuing to use that. Let's go, and once that's ready, pull that back. Let's see. Is there anything I can do in the meantime? All close all. I am planning on going sort of piece by piece through a bunch of the different parts of the code, which I guess is what I'll start doing while I'm waiting for that to finish. Where to start? Well, I guess with the app, huh? Program, let's see, piece by piece. Yeah, all the default initialization crap. This is a custom thing that I added that pulls in some useful config options. This, don't remember what this was for, but no harm keeping it in. When the vault first runs, there tends to be a period where the first handful of requests are super slow because it has to pull in, because it's still loading. I mean, you start it and it loads up what it needs to run the basics, but for actually responding to a request that requires more stuff, that it doesn't necessarily load immediately. And so that can cause some lag on those first few requests. So this is just to do that loading up front to prevent that lag. Startup is the typical ASP.NET Core startup file, or at least it takes the standard format. If you start a new .NET Core or ASP.NET Core project, it's going to give you something like this, although it's not going to have all this stuff. Cores, we need cores, because cores is a pain in the butt, and this is the magic to actually let the scripts be ran. If you don't need this, then, I mean, you can still access the script, you just can't run it for security reasons. So that's needed for compatibility, essentially. Services add controllers. This hooks up the defaults ASP.NET Core routing stuff, and we'll load up these controllers. JSON options, right? This is just for naming of different JSON properties, whether it's a lowercase letter first or a uppercase letter. Let's finish. Failed on mounting. It's finished. Yeah, still letting it back up. right? Date time zone handling UTC. We want that so that ASP.NET doesn't intercept date-like strings and pre-parse them, I think. I know I needed this, but I don't exactly recall why. So we'll just leave it in. Some logging utilities, see the IP of whoever's making requests. Gives more information if an exception occurs. So there's those configs, and then this services. Right, this require auth attribute. This was how I injected authentication, quote unquote, authentication stuff for different endpoints. If I go to admin controller, yeah, service filter, require auth attribute. So it all goes through this, and this will do the extracting all of the credentials out of the headers, deobfuscating that data, making sure that it lines up with the user, and that the user has the token that was given with the request, and all this other stuff. Privilege checks, loads up this data, user ID, sitter permissions, and blah, blah, blah. So that loads all that up, and then this stuff gets used with the other controllers. Base controller, this is a common base, so this car auth attribute stuff loads up a bunch of this data, and then we can use it elsewhere by using these utilities. Just pulls it out of there. Big authentication, parsing, and whatnot. This runs the high score service. I don't recall why it needs to be ran like this, but it does. Whatever. Database configuration, of course. So this is the general config stuff for the app as a whole. And this is some more Vault-specific stuff. This will do the script obfuscation. And then, right, since we do plan to be using NGINX reverse proxy to provide that HTTPS stuff, which is what I was talking about before, we're going to have another server accepting HTTPS requests, and then it's just going to contact the Vault server to actually get the responses. And so NGINX is going to forward those requests to the server, and so we need to have some stuff for managing forwarded headers, or else we're not going to be able to respond or read the request properly. That's more config stuff. This applies the data obfuscation, decryption middleware, and that goes to encryption, quote unquote encryption stuff. Don't need to go into that now. Forwarded headers, content decryption. This is another thing that we just kind of need. Same with this. And then this actually applies the CORS stuff because everybody hates CORS. That's not true. Not everyone hates CORS, but everyone does think CORS is super annoying. I can almost guarantee that. That's effectively it for the config stuff, although that's not super illuminating for the app as a whole. That's what each of those pieces do. And background, this has been running. And okay, so we got this. Ubuntu, and the window size is awkward. That is annoying. Can I resize this? I cannot. Have to make it a little bit smaller. Hopefully that it doesn't interfere with legibility much. Yeah, still pretty good. How's that looking? Twitch. Channel. Still visible? Yeah, that's still readable. Okay. Got that right. Okay, let me bring this back. So let's do sudo I, just make things a bit easier. Apt-get updates, as always, then apt-get install NGINX, I believe. Yes, install NGINX. Firewall's disabled, cool. Then I'm gonna grab the text editor that I like to use on Linux and whatnot. Micro text editor. Micro. Yes, get this. I'm just gonna. Oh no, I can't copy and paste because it's a VM. CD user bin, I think. Close enough. Get mic.row dash micro. Okay. So that's just a useful editor. Okay, so NGINX stuff is going to be at, yeah, etc. NGINX, yes? Yes. Okay. Now, there is a way that you're supposed to be modifying these files, sites enabled. This sites enabled default, that's where all of the configuration stuff goes for the most part. And you're supposed to make multiple files here, but I always just use the default file because I am a heretic and do not want to follow best practices. So I'm going to edit that directly. Is my mouse going to be able to click around? No, it is not. Okay. Oh well. So this is all the NGINX basic config. So let's... Does this actually... Does this have... 6, 8, 9, does this have access to... Yes, it can reach my main computer. Okay. Sites enable default. So the sites enabled and sites available, I'm pretty sure those two are just symlinked to each other, so it doesn't really matter which one you modify. But I just use sites enabled just because. Maybe I'm supposed to be using the other one. I don't know. But it works nonetheless. Okay, I cannot rattle off the config info off the top of my head, so I'm going to need to go back to the very useful dump of the vault stuff, etc. NGINX, it's available. Let's go. Let's open this up and see what we need. Rate limiting, I'll probably end up using that. For the most part, I really just need this bit here. So this is a rewriting rule. I think that's what it's called. Take for the location based on a regex that starts with API or script. Get a URL that starts with API or script. We're going to respond like this. We're going to proxy pass to 168.1.9.5000 semicolon. Can't forget that. Proxy set header. And this is really just, I'm just blindly copy and pasting this over because again, I don't remember how specifically all of this worked. What matters is that it works and we can broadly speaking understand what it's supposed to be doing, which I think is somewhat straightforward, somewhat obvious just from reading it. Include, right, proxy tw general. The stuff from this file here can probably just be copy pasted in, but okay. So that's added. Saved. This we don't need. This is just for the map. Well, yeah, the MapDataFetcher registration page. Don't want to expose that. Hit counter dev. Right. This was so I could have, yeah, dev redirects to my dev machine while testing. And all this other stuff. Yeah, I put this in a separate file because I had all of these other sorts of ways to expose the vault, and so putting it in a separate file was convenient, but you don't really need to do it like that. But I'm going to do it anyway. So that's saved, but we need that proxy general whatever. So let's go back here, proxy tw general config, proxy tw general.cfg. Okay. Yeah, I'll just copy all this over. twb. So this is rate limiting config, so we can have tons of people connecting, but if one person decides to make a ton of requests, it doesn't bog everything else down. This puts in, well, limits, as you can see, to prevent people from using up all the resources. Your size, 25M. Oops. This is a minor optimization. I think this was just to get rid of some warnings in the logs. Proxy buffers, 28. Don't remember exactly what this does, but whatever. The version 1, set header. Post. Oh, oh, okay. Whoops. Okay. Post. Real interesting stuff right here. Oh, yeah. Gotta do the bypass. Yep. Whatever the hell that does. Then you gotta, yep. Let's see, set header. Yeah, bear with me for a few more moments. Temperature. Let's see, set header. Chances are half of this stuff isn't really needed, but I don't really want to play that game of did I remember to copy over all the right stuff? I do not remember exactly what all the right stuff is. So I'm just doing this. Post quick spell check. Oh yeah. One, one. Schema. Scheme. Fix real up. That's not. It's not a header name. Silly ghost. Yep. Okay. That looks good. Okay, so we've made these changes, but now we need to actually apply them. So we'll use NGINX s reload. Right, there were some other config changes. So let's do nginx.conf. Here. What else do we need? Worker connections, yeah, that's fine. Log IP, send file on 148. Okay, so that would be this proxy headers hash max size or proxy headers hash bucket size 256. It's already there, so we've got those. Log, gzip on. Anything else? Doesn't look like there's really anything else in here. Nope. Looks like that is it. Okay. Let's try this again. Hey, no errors, no problems. Cool. Now if I go sure, I don't remember how to grab that without ifconfig. 172.19.71. What an IP address. 192. No, not 192. 172, wasn't it? Yes. 172.19.71.105. Hey, okay. So we've got NGINX, but yeah, I'll just do it. Well, I'm debating whether I want to do a self-signed cert so that I can just generate an SSL certificate locally and not have to do all this domain name crap, but I'm going to need to do it anyway, since I wanted to show how to deploy Vault fully on Ubuntu. And to get that the actual correct HTTPS stuff working, in order to do that, I need to have the domain name pointed to my computer, forwarded it to this VM. But if the VM is at this weird freaking IP address, I'm not sure how that's going to work out. I can do just localhost. Is this going to... Nope. Nope, it is not. Why? Okay. Well, let's go back to... Whoops. Oh, it's capturing the input. Hyper-V. Some setting somewhere with the networking. Management. All in the butt. Do this again. Whatever. Action. No. Click. Switch manager. This is virtual switch. Yes. External network. It's the Ethernet. Yes. It's that. Oh boy. We'll see how this goes. Is that actually... Okay, hold up. Hold up. Networking internet settings, Ethernet, Ethernet. How do I set this as... Really now? Oh, alright. Why was that failing to connect? Let's go back to Twitch. TV. Oh, really now? Settings. Oh, work now? No, still not working. So that's fun. I have screwed up my internet. How am I gonna get out of this? Advanced networking settings. Disable that. And then if I go back here, oh, disable that. Enable. What is it? Disable. Enable. What you talking about, Willis? You're still not working. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, what have I done? Let's allow external network. Can I remove this? Okay, I'm going to shut down now. I'm going to switch manager. I'm going to remove the default. No, I cannot. Do not allow operating system to share. Enable virtual LAN. No, do not want VLAN. Stopped. Started successfully. Okay, let's try this. Maybe config release. Green new. Oh, fun! Oh, how lovely. Okay, work. Well, at least I know how to fix that. No, not data usage. Oh boy. This is being screwy in all kinds of ways. Additional properties. DNS, manual, one, save. Hey, there we go. All right, we're back. Are we back?